The world has descended into a chaotic free-for-all, where empowered beings clash in a ruined city. Amidst the pandemonium, one man with glasses calmly reads a book, seemingly unaffected. He contemplates his own sanity, questioning if being clear-headed is a blessing in this mad world. For 30 years, an emotional illness has plagued humanity, making emotional control impossible. This affliction rears its head even at a simple Sky Art department gathering. The art director, Zhang Yanfei, erupts in fury over the most minor inconveniences. His assistant, Wu Jingjing, matches his rage, turning a small complaint into a screaming match. The conflict spreads as other colleagues are drawn into the pointless, aggressive argument. A concept artist named Chang Mo steps in, attempting to be the peacemaker and de-escalate the situation. His reward for trying to help is a sudden violent blow from the enraged director. The peacemaker's reward is a hard landing on the polished floor. A stunned silence falls over the room as his colleagues stare in disbelief. Consumed by his rage, the director pants heavily, his eyes glowing red. As the anger fades, the director's expression contorts with dawning horror. The director panics with apologies, yet the injured Chang Mo is the one trying to calm everyone down. He quietly retreats from the group, dabbing his bloody nose as the party awkwardly resumes. A flirtatious colleague, Yili, approaches, impressed by his remarkable tolerance. He claims it's because he's the only sane one, suggesting she can also see the true cause. The source of the emotional illness is revealed: a bizarre, pulsating red growth on the director's head. He recalls his childhood, remembering the first time he witnessed this strange phenomenon at just 10 years old. He remembers the first time he saw it, a grotesque, pulsating sac on his own mother's head. After his father's death, he initially dismissed it as a grief-induced hallucination, but his mother's temper worsened. With every outburst, the growth on her head swelled, fueling a terrifying, uncontrollable rage. He then discovered the horrifying truth. Once the sac reaches a certain size, it detonates. This catastrophic event is why he has meticulously controlled his emotions his entire life. Back in the present, he watches another pointless fight erupt, seeing the same pattern repeat. He realizes with alarm that Director Zhang's rage is pushing his own sac to its breaking point. Chang Mo pauses, his face a mask of cold calculation as he weighs his options. Breaking his vow of non-interference, he moves to intervene, surprising his flirtatious colleague. He reveals his motive isn't altruism, but a pragmatic desire to avoid the messy aftermath of a death. He calmly observes the director's emotional growth start to violently rupture, finding it merely troublesome. He and his colleague watch the scene unfold, their expressions unreadable against the stark blue light. The raw energy of the emotional illness flares up, taking the form of fiery, chaotic wisps. The man the director was arguing with also loses control, his head erupting in a similar geyser of rage. The chaos is reflected in his eye, yet his gaze remains unnervingly calm and focused. Consumed by the inferno, the director clutches his head, his face contorting into a monstrous visage of agony and rage. The director unleashes a furious cry, his power exploding outwards and sending his colleagues reeling. While others see a monster, he simply observes the predictable outcome of unchecked emotion. The opponent, caught between terror and bravado, foolishly tries to stand his ground. With blinding speed, the transformed director lunges, his fiery claws poised to strike. The brutal outcome sends his colleagues into a panicked frenzy, screaming for everyone to run. Unfazed by the chaos, Chang Mo calmly ponders the transformation, comparing it to his past. A deep-seated question resurfaces. If this is what happens, why did his mother's burst sac lead to her death? Yeli grabs his arm, snapping him out of his thoughts and pulling him toward safety. She reveals a crucial truth. The burst sac doesn't kill, it unleashes a monstrous emotional form. These transformed beings gain immense power, allowing them to vent their rage without restraint. As they flee the collateral damage, he presses her for answers, and she hints the truth is about to be revealed. The director's power flares to its absolute limit, a roaring inferno of pure emotion. In a stunning climax, the monstrous form violently implodes, releasing its energy in a final explosive burst. The director's body collapses, his power extinguished, leaving only a dark stain on the floor. The remaining colleagues stare in shock, only seeing the director's sudden collapse and the fire vanishing. Yi Lai reveals a startling truth. Ordinary people are blind to the existence of these emotional monsters. They couldn't see the monstrous entity that actually consumed the director from within. She then delivers a devastating blow, explaining this is exactly how his mother truly died. Changmo listens in stunned silence, the final horrifying pieces of his past clicking into place. But Yeli isn't finished, correcting herself to reveal an even more sinister truth. His mother wasn't just a victim of her own rage, but prey for someone who could control their own emotional monster. She explains that every emotional monster is intrinsically linked to its master, acting as a beacon. Following the trail of residual energy leads them directly to the unseen predator in the crowd. A smug, tattooed man stands revealed, calmly sipping his drink, surrounded by the stolen power of the director's rage. A flashback reveals the predator was once his childhood neighbor, a man he knew as Little Lee Gay. Yili confirms this man, once a simple neighbor, has now risen to a position of immense power. Publicly, he's the vice president of a major corporation, but secretly, he's a master of his own emotional beast. He deliberately infects others with rage, waiting for them to transform so he can prey upon their power. This entire party was nothing more than a hunting ground, with everyone unknowingly walking into his trap. But her investigation uncovered an even more personal and devastating connection. She reveals the final, horrifying truth. His very first victim was Changmo's mother. The man intentionally infected her, manipulated her rage, and then consumed her power, single-handedly destroying Changmo's family. All the pain and loss of his past now have a face, standing calmly across the room. In the stark silence, the devastating truth settles between them, setting the stage for what must come next. He processes the revelation, clarifying that the predator only hunts those who transform to steal their power. Changmo confidently declares himself safe, believing his immunity makes him an impossible target. She questions his decision to walk away from his mother's killer, but he dismisses it as a suicidal, unverified quest for revenge. Yili observes his unnerving composure, sensing a deeper, unacknowledged truth beneath his logic. With a challenging gaze, she questions his self-proclaimed immunity, implying he's deluding himself. He turns away from her, a silent dismissal of her provocative words. But her accusation lingers, forcing him to turn back and demand an explanation. Her expression turns grave as she prepares to shatter his perception of himself. She reveals the horrifying truth. He isn't immune, but is host to the most powerful sickness of all. The final twist is revealed. He was never just an observer, but the predator's ultimate prize all along. She reveals the predator's true target wasn't just any transformed victim, but Changmo himself. The man from his past appears behind him, his voice dripping with false familiarity. He places a hand on Changmo's shoulder, a gesture that is both a greeting and a threat. Changmo attempts to play dumb, but the predator laughs it off, pulling him closer for a chat. With a chilling smile, the man makes a strange and presumptuous request for his help. He then delivers a sudden, powerful kick, demanding Changmo finally show some anger. The unprovoked attack sends Changmo flying across the polished floor, stunning the onlookers. The remaining colleagues, already on edge, surge forward, furious at this new aggressor. Yilai rushes to his side, but he insists he's fine, despite the obvious pain. The predator watches with disappointment, realizing his target's emotional control is stronger than he anticipated. With a simple snap of his fingers, the predator unleashes his next move. The colleagues rushing to help are suddenly engulfed in the fiery aura of the emotional illness. He stands calmly amidst the chaos as their bodies contort into fiery, monstrous forms. The other partygoers panic, seeing only a sudden blaze and screaming for everyone to get away. The predator taunts Changmo, asking if the suffering of his friends will finally make him angry. Changmo looks down, remembering the predator's words about how well his colleagues have treated him. A flashback shows a female colleague's kindness, offering to set him up with her sister. He recalls her good-natured teasing, a memory of a simple, friendly moment at the office. Another memory surfaces of a male colleague warmly inviting him to join them for lunch. He remembers that same colleague's generosity, insisting on paying for his meal because he was new. Even as a fiery monster, one of his colleagues fights through the rage to warn him. With their last ounce of humanity, they desperately urge him to run for his life. But the predator stands victorious, surrounded by the dark remnants of Changmo's friends. He taunts Changmo's indifference, questioning how much more he can possibly endure. The villain reveals he can see the sack of suppressed anger on Changmo's head growing larger. He smirks, deciding to save the ultimate truth about his mother's death for the final blow. Changmo stays kneeling on the floor, his head bowed in apparent defeat. But a close look reveals the truth. He's not nearly as calm as he appears. He recalls a lifetime of enduring abuse from colleagues who lost control. to random strangers looking for a fight, forcing him to perfect his emotional suppression. He reveals the hidden truth, a constant, simmering desire to unleash his own fury on them. Yet he has always chosen to suppress this violent impulse, keeping his composure. He recalls the deep remorse that always follows their outbursts, reminding him they aren't in control. This cycle of rage and regret mirrors the painful memory of his mother's own tearful apologies. To avoid the inevitable regret of losing control, he has imprisoned his emotions with cold, hard rationality. This mantra of self-control has been his shield for his entire life, a rule he never broke. But now, standing over the remains of his friends, he questions the very foundation of his existence. A primal urge takes over, screaming for him to become a monster and finally avenge his mother. He clenches his fist, ready to embrace the rage, yet a confusing hesitation holds him back. He finally asks the question aloud, wondering why his rage isn't triggering the monstrous transformation. Yeli urgently warns him that transforming is a death sentence. He reasons that if he's doomed either way, he might as well go down fighting. She watches his defiant resolve, her expression turning somber. She prepares to deliver another difficult truth about his current condition. She reveals that, contrary to his desire, it's actually impossible for him to transform. The confusing revelation leaves him stunned, his head bowed in thought. A single desperate question echoes in his mind as he struggles to understand. Across the room, the predator watches his internal struggle with smug amusement. The villain mocks his hesitation, tired of waiting for him to find a reason to fight. Deciding to force the issue, the predator unleashes his power and lunges forward for another attack. He reflects on his internal monologue, trying to make sense of his impossible situation. The confusion deepens as he questions if he was ever truly just talking to himself. A sudden, shocking realization hits him with the force of a physical blow. He understands that the voice of reason in his head was never his own. His gaze shifts to Ye Li, who kneels amidst a strange, ethereal energy. He notices the glowing blue aura surrounding her, a clear sign of immense power. She smiles, confirming that he has finally uncovered the truth she was hiding. She decides to drop the charade and stop toying with his perception of reality. Ye Li reveals her true, otherworldly form, explaining that she has always been visible only to him. He stares in disbelief, realizing the woman he thought was his colleague is something else entirely. The predator unleashes a devastating blast of raw power, sending Chang Mo hurtling through the air. As the dust settles, Ye Li begins to explain the real reason he is unable to transform. The predator stares in utter disbelief, his attack having failed to produce the expected result. She reveals that from their first meeting, he was infected and became host to a different kind of emotional monster. This new entity is a paradox, an emotional monster born from pure, unyielding rationality. A colossal, chained being of blue energy materializes, its very presence warping the space around it. The predator looks on in horror, unable to comprehend this unprecedented form of emotional power. Chang Mo kneels in awe, questioning how his own cold logic could manifest as such a terrifying entity. He then wonders why, if he was transformed all along, he is only able to see his own monster now. But another, more urgent question suddenly pushes its way to the forefront of his mind. He struggles to comprehend her true identity, questioning her role in his strange transformation. She admits a full explanation will take time, but reveals his emotion of rationality is the most special of all. This unique power can suppress all other emotions, including the predator's overwhelming rage. She then prepares to reveal the simple principle behind why he was blind to his own monster. With a knowing look, she explains that in this world, one can only see what they know exists. The predator realizes his opponent is not a slave to his power, but a master who controls it. A shocking realization hits him. This makes Chang Mo the same kind of being as himself. The villain grits his teeth, his confidence finally rattled by this unprecedented turn of events. Refusing to be intimidated, his own fiery monster roars, dismissing the newly awakened entity as a worthy opponent. The two colossal beings, one of cold logic and the other of burning rage, face off for a cataclysmic battle. The beast of rage lunges forward, its fiery form passing harmlessly through the ethereal blue entity. The predator stares in disbelief, his confident attack having completely missed its mark. Ye Li explains that since he can't control his monster yet, it hasn't fully manifested in the physical world. His monster of rationality is merely a projection, an untouchable phantom of his mind. The predator's shock turns to a smug grin as he realizes his opponent's power is still confined to the mind realm. Believing he's found a weakness, the predator's own monster looms over Chang Mo, ready to strike him directly. Chang Mo looks up, his gaze remaining unnervingly calm even as the fiery beast closes in. The predator redirects his attack, aiming to crush Chang Mo's physical body since his monster can't be touched. He grins with sadistic glee, certain that victory is now within his grasp. But his confidence shatters in an instant, replaced by utter shock as his attack fails once again. The predator's fiery jaws clamp down, but Chang Mo stands completely unharmed within their grasp. The villain's eye widens in pure disbelief, unable to process why his attack has no effect. Yili explains his lifetime of suppression has made his rationality incredibly resistant to anger, rendering the attack useless. Enraged by this revelation, the predator's face twists with fury, refusing to accept his powerlessness. His fiery monster roars, gathering its energy for an even more ferocious assault. Chang Mo questions his next move, but Yili reveals he can simply borrow power from his own monster. The knowledge itself unlocks a new potential, as Chang Mo's eyes gleam with sudden understanding. As the beast of rage strikes again, Chang Mo meets the attack head-on with a newly empowered fist. The predator watches in stunned silence as his ultimate attack is effortlessly intercepted. A cataclysmic explosion of red and blue energy erupts, marking the first true clash between the two masters. The predator is sent reeling, his mind struggling to comprehend this impossible outcome. From the dissipating energy, Chang Mo's silhouette emerges completely unscathed. He steps forward, his hand now encased in a crystalline gauntlet of pure rationality. A closer look reveals the intricate blue crystals forming a deadly weapon around his fingers. The predator's shock turns to dawning horror as he finally understands where this new power came from. He stares in disbelief, unable to accept that his ultimate attack was shattered by a simple touch. Faced with the colossal blue entity, the predator's only thought is to turn and flee for his life. But Chang Mo takes a single, powerful step, cracking the floor beneath him as he prepares to pursue. He launches himself forward in a blur of motion, closing the distance in an instant. A terrified glance over the shoulder confirms the predator's worst fear. There is no escape. The predator unleashes a series of fiery explosions, a desperate attempt to cover his retreat. He taunts his pursuer, questioning if Chang Mo is in a hurry to meet his end. Yili explains that emotional monsters are never truly gone, only temporarily banished from the physical world. With no other option, the predator smashes through a massive window, making a dramatic exit. The chase spills out onto the deck, with Chang Mo landing just moments behind his fleeing target. The camera reveals their true location, the sprawling, luxurious deck of a massive ship. This world-class vessel is identified as the cruise ship, Emperor of the Sea. The ship is revealed to be cruising just offshore from the glittering lights of Donghai City. Yili suddenly warns him that continuing the chase on this particular ship is a very dangerous idea. She reveals the ship is a world-renowned vessel, implying the predator's escape is far from simple. She explains that the Sky Art Party is being held on the Emperor of the Sea, an exclusive vessel permitted in Donghai's polluted waters. The shocking truth is revealed. This entire cruise ship is secretly controlled by masters of emotional monsters. This vessel serves as a dark marketplace for these powerful beings, offering services that include hunting ordinary people. Yili warns that attacking the predator here is a direct challenge to the ship's formidable owners, as he is a VIP guest. The ship's security is described as so overwhelmingly powerful they could crush him like an insect. Chang Mo silently processes this grim new reality, his expression hardening with cold calculation. He realizes this is his only chance. If he doesn't eliminate his target now, he won't survive the inevitable retaliation. The scene shifts to a lavish VIP lounge where powerful figures relax around a disturbing and macabre statue. A presenter details the statue's grotesque history, revealing it was crafted from the actual remains of a high-profile victim. The man, identified as Victor Lee of the Wilderness International Consortium, offers this grim artwork as a gift to the ship's unseen masters. The ship's captain, Liu Yang, seems unimpressed by the morbid gift, noting it's not the first powerful figure Victor has delivered. A woman named Anna Chris coolly remarks on the imaginative cruelty used to punish the uncooperative official. Another guest, Song Huihui, disturbingly praises the statue, calling it an honor for the victim to be immortalized as art. A bishop named Zhao Yan questions Victor's motives, wondering if his corporate ambitions are now aimed at the Great Xia region. Victor confidently justifies his aggressive expansion as a necessity and offers his full cooperation to the powerful figures in the room. An aide interrupts with urgent news. The predator, Liu Li, deviated from the plan and is now being violently overpowered by his new target. Song Huihui scoffs at the predator's incompetence, revealing he only has hunting privileges because of a mysterious high-ranking patron. A curious guest presses for details, suggesting that knowing the identity of this powerful sir is crucial for their alliance. The captain, intrigued by Chang Mo's raw talent, decides to let the predator suffer a little longer before stepping in to save face for his patron. He issues orders to seal the deck, dismissing ordinary people but clearly intending to deal with the powerful newcomer personally. The captain dismisses Chang Mo as someone without connections, ordering his swift elimination. Back on the deck, the chase continues under the starry night sky. Chang Mo closes the distance, landing a solid blow on the predator's jaw. The force of the impact sends the villain sprawling across the deck. Pinning his target, Chang Mo raises his crystalline blade, declaring that the end has come. The predator panics, unable to believe Chang Mo would dare to finish him on this ship. Chang Mo calmly confirms his deadly intent, his gaze cold and resolute. Terrified, the predator abandons all pride and desperately pleads for mercy. His pleas fall on deaf ears as the glowing blue weapon remains poised to strike. As a final, desperate gambit, the predator claims to know the true secret behind his mother's death. The predator's desperate words make Chang Mo pause, his crystalline blade hovering just above its target. The cold touch of the blade against his skin sends a wave of pure terror through the predator. Losing his patience, Chang Mo grabs the predator by the throat, demanding the truth with a crushing grip. The predator's agonized cries echo across the deck, lost against the vast, indifferent night sky. Chang Mo's cold gaze bores into him, questioning the new story and demanding to know if this is just another lie. The predator frantically explains that there was another, more powerful hunter operating in their old neighborhood. In a flashback, he reveals he was also infected and transformed, only to be spared and recruited by this mysterious master. He claims he was forced to become a weapon, used to infect and hunt others against his will. This shadowy figure would then absorb the emotional power from the victims, growing stronger with each life taken. With the truth finally revealed, Chang Mo demands to know the identity and location of the true mastermind behind his family's tragedy. The predator desperately tries to bluff, warning that his powerful master will avenge him. But his terror of this mysterious figure outweighs his fear of Chang Mo, and he falls silent. Chang Mo's patience wears thin, his expression turning to stone. With no useful information forthcoming, he decides to end the conversation permanently. Suddenly, a new voice issues a chilling command from the shadows. An unseen power grips Chang Mo, targeting his very heart and bringing him to his knees. He collapses to the deck, the sudden invisible assault leaving him incapacitated. As Chang Mo lies motionless, the predator scrambles away from a figure who now steps out of the darkness. The ship's captain, Liu Yang, finally makes his appearance on the deck. He offers a polite apology for his late arrival, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the recent violence. The predator looks up in surprise as the captain confirms he is there to serve him. Emboldened by his powerful ally, the predator's confidence returns with a menacing grin. He turns his aggression back on Chang Mo, humiliating him and daring him to act on his earlier threat. But just as the predator moves to strike, Chang Mo manages to raise a hand and block the blow. A sudden, invisible force repels the predator, sending him stumbling backward across the deck. The captain's calm facade cracks, his face a mask of disbelief that his target is still alive. Chang Mo is equally bewildered, staring at his own hand as he tries to understand what just happened. Yi Lai explains the captain used the power of his arrogance monster to issue a lethal command to his heart. Chang Mo is stunned by the terrifying ability, wondering if such a power makes its user invincible. She clarifies that only his unique resistance as a rationality type saved him from the captain's superior power. Yali delivers a grim warning, stating the captain is an opponent he absolutely cannot defeat. Chang Mo sizes up his new adversary, who stands calmly beside the cowering predator. He questions why the captain's monster is invisible, learning it resides deep within the mind realm. A diagram illustrates that his own monster was visible because it straddled the line between reality and the mind. She clarifies that once a monster retreats fully into the mind realm, it becomes nearly impossible to perceive. The predator grins, pleased that his target survived, and gives the captain a knowing look. The captain unleashes his power of arrogance, issuing a simple, undeniable command. An irresistible force slams into him, forcing him down onto one knee against his will. He grits his teeth in frustration, realizing he is utterly powerless against the captain's ability. Yelai explains the paradox of arrogance. The less harmful the command, the more absolute its power becomes. The captain takes a single deliberate step, looming over the kneeling Chang Mo. With a casual backhand, he forces Chang Mo's head down in a display of absolute dominance. Despite the humiliation, Chang Mo's gaze remains unbroken, a silent fire burning behind his glasses. The predator seizes the moment, cruelly offering to repay Chang Mo by revealing the full, ugly truth of his mother's end. His words hit their mark as Chang Mo's eye widens with dawning horror. The predator begins his tale, recalling a day his mother was lucid, cooking a meal to apologize for her recent temper. He then callously describes how that moment of peace was shattered, ending in a ruined kitchen and a wasted meal. The true reason is revealed. His mother was chosen as prey simply because a powerful lord pointed her out at random. He feigns reluctance, claiming he initially objected because she had once shown him kindness when he was struggling. But he admits that watching her lose control and seeing Chang Mo's happiness crumble brought him a sick, twisted pleasure. He revels in the absolute power of destroying lives, declaring his will dictates the fate of his victims. But Chang Mo rises, his crystalline blade ready, turning the tables on his tormentor. With newfound control, he issues a simple command, ordering the predator to freeze in place. The predator finds himself paralyzed, completely at the mercy of Chang Mo's blade. The captain intervenes, issuing a far more humiliating command to Chang Mo. An irresistible force slams Chang Mo to the deck, forcing him to bow against his will. Yet even in this forced submission, a flicker of defiance remains on his face. The captain then instructs the predator to take over, wanting to break Chang Mo's spirit personally. Looming over him, the captain makes a demeaning offer: swear loyalty and become his servant. The predator adds the final humiliation, demanding he bark like an animal to earn his life. Despite being pinned, a defiant smile spreads across Chang Mo's face as he considers the final, grim alternative. He remains immobilized on the deck, a helpless figure under the watchful eyes of his two tormentors. Yili kneels beside him as he quietly asks for her plan, but she feigns ignorance. She coolly turns the question back on him, implying the next move is his to make. He reasons that her vast knowledge of his past and the ship's secrets means she must have foreseen this outcome. With no other options, he surrenders to her unseen game, vowing to accept whatever terms she offers. The predator grinds his foot onto Chang Mo's head, delivering the final degrading command. A subtle, knowing smile plays on Ye Li's lips, suggesting this was the moment she was waiting for. She reveals her simple condition. All he has to do is willingly accept the power she offers. A colossal wave of blue energy erupts from her, violently throwing the predator away and stunning the captain. Chang Mo is drenched in a torrent of raw blue power, absorbing it completely. He cries out as jagged blue crystals violently erupt from his head in a stunning transformation. The captain watches in disbelief, realizing Chang Mo's emotional power is surging to unprecedented levels. He mistakenly believes that Chang Mo has finally lost control of his emotions. But instead of chaos, Chang Mo finds himself floating serenely in a vast cosmic void. He becomes a tiny speck of existence, dwarfed by the breathtaking beauty of a swirling nebula. He questions this new state, realizing that all his feelings, sadness, happiness, excitement, have vanished. In the place of emotion, his mind is now filled with pure, cold calculation. A colossal, shadowy entity suddenly looms over him, a dark presence in this serene space. His eye widens, reflecting the cosmic scene as he begins to understand this new reality. His physical form shatters into crystalline fragments, ascending into the cosmic void of his mind. In this new state, he recalls a simpler time playing video games with his mother in a moment of shared surprise. He remembers peaceful afternoons spent drawing together, a quiet memory of their creative bond. A memory surfaces of his mother effortlessly carrying heavy loads, her smile a beacon of strength. He sees her again, playfully flexing her arm, a symbol of her cheerful and resilient spirit. The memories darken, shifting to the day of his father's funeral, where his mother held him as he grieved. He recalls the profound loneliness that followed, sitting by himself as he processed the loss. A gentle hand on his head reminds him of his mother's attempt to offer comfort in their shared sorrow. He remembers her trying to stay strong for him, forcing a brave face while struggling with her own pain. The final memory is a violent one, showing the moment her grief finally erupted into uncontrollable rage. He remembers his mother's tearful apologies, holding him close after her rage had passed. But those moments were always shattered by another furious, uncontrollable outburst. He recalls the harsh discipline born from her illness, a memory he had long suppressed. And then came the inevitable shame, as she would collapse in remorse, leaving him to comfort her. All these painful memories culminate in the final, horrific image of her life being extinguished. The predator's sadistic grin reveals he enjoyed every moment of her destruction. The cruel story shatters his composure, cracking the very lens through which he sees the world. His glasses explode as a new, untamed power erupts from within, his eyes burning with golden light. He finds himself in a new state of being, standing calm and transformed within the cosmic void of his mind. Yili appears, explaining that his lifetime of suppressed anger was the fuel needed to survive her power. She offers a final paradoxical lesson. To truly master rationality, he must first let it go. With her task complete, she gives him permission to finally seek his revenge. The raw power continues to surge, the crystalline energy crackling around his head. The crystals shatter, revealing his new form, calm, focused, with eyes burning gold. Back on the deck, his power erupts into a colossal pillar of blue energy, stunning his enemies. But just as quickly, the immense power vanishes, leaving him standing in eerie silence. The predator bursts into laughter, believing his opponent's power was nothing more than a fleeting display. The captain, however, remains silent, sensing that what he just witnessed was not a sign of weakness. His analytical gaze turns to one of sheer disbelief as he realizes the horrifying truth. He understands the power hasn't vanished, it has simply become imperceptible to them. The captain explains that the power has simply evolved to a level beyond their ability to perceive. Elsewhere on the ship, the party continues, its patrons completely unaware of the unfolding conflict. Suddenly, the invisible shockwave of power slams a man violently to the dance floor. He stares up in terror, overwhelmed by a force he can neither see nor comprehend. In a quiet restaurant, another guest's solitary meal is abruptly disturbed by the same unseen energy. The sheer force of Changmo's transformation shatters the man's plate from across the room. He recognizes the signature of a world-class emotional monster, wondering who would dare unleash such power here. The guest realizes this isn't just a fight, but a direct challenge to the entire syndicate controlling the ship. Back in the VIP lounge, the powerful masters are all jolted to attention by the immense power surge. The captain and his influential guests exchange looks, their curiosity piqued by this unexpected newcomer. The woman in the hat coolly questions if this new power signature is truly world-class. Victor Lee wonders aloud if another powerful individual has boarded the ship with hostile intent. Song Hui speculates this newcomer might be targeting the Predator's mysterious and powerful patron. A new authoritative figure reassures the group, promising that no one can threaten his vessel. He declares with absolute certainty that even a world-class master will be eliminated for defying the Emperor of the Sea. Back on the deck, the three powerful figures stand frozen in a tense standoff under the night sky. The Predator screams in disbelief, unable to process how Changmo's power has become completely imperceptible. The captain confirms the impossible, admitting that even he can only vaguely sense the new power level. He describes the overwhelming pressure as a cataclysmic force, equal to that of the world's greatest masters. Terrified by this realization, the captain screams at the Predator, urging him to run for his life. With his enemies dispatched, Changmo stands with cold finality, his golden eyes reflecting his newfound power. The scene pulls back to reveal the silent aftermath, with both the captain and the Predator lying defeated on the deck. Ye Lai remarks on the surprising ease of his victory, questioning the extreme nature of his final move. He coldly expresses regret, believing his revenge wasn't slow or painful enough for his tormentor. He understands this is only the beginning, as his gaze shifts towards the true unseen enemy. A new figure's foot touches the deck, unleashing a web of golden energy that crackles across the surface. The golden tendrils of power spread out, completely covering the ship's deck and converging on a single mysterious figure. This immense power surges upward, engulfing the entire superstructure of the Emperor of the Sea. The golden energy coalesces into a colossal, ornate throne, revealing the true, godlike master of the ship in all his glory. Changmo stares in utter awe, finally comprehending the true power he has challenged. Ye Lai reveals a shocking truth. The entire ship is an emotional construct explaining its resilience. She clarifies that perception is power, and he can only glimpse this reality by borrowing her strength. The master of the ship, the Sea Emperor, proudly displays the true form of his power. His immense golden energy spreads across the deck, a display of overwhelming godlike authority. The master looks down with contempt, dismissing Changmo as an intruder who must be eliminated. He begins an ancient chant, his words echoing with cosmic authority. The golden throne itself seems to pulse with power, as he declares that all offenses will be punished. Changmo realizes his opponent is chanting in unison with his monster, a technique he's never seen. A sudden understanding dawns on him. The chanting is a way to amplify the power of his commands. The Sea Emperor issues his first command, ordering the very space around Changmo's monster to solidify. A colossal cube of golden energy materializes, imprisoning Changmo's monster within its walls. The Sea Emperor continues his chant, preparing to inflict punishment with a golden sword. He issues a second command, decreeing that all emotional power within the cube will be halved. Countless golden swords manifest from nothing, piercing the energy prison from all directions. The Sea Emperor scoffs with contempt, dismissing his opponent's futile struggle. The VIP guests watch from afar, mocking Changmo's inexperience for allowing the lengthy attack. They confidently declare that with his power halved, Changmo's capture is only a matter of time. But a sudden, sharp crack echoes from within the golden prison, a sign of defiance. The onlookers' casual confidence shatters, their faces registering shock at this unexpected turn. The Sea Emperor's smug expression vanishes, replaced by pure disbelief as his ultimate attack begins to fail. Blue crystalline swords erupt from the monster, shattering the golden prison with overwhelming force. With a look of pure focus, Changmo directs his monster's devastating counter-offensive. With a simple gesture, he commands his monster to unleash its full power. The colossal blue entity shatters its remaining bonds, towering over the ship in a display of raw power. A close look reveals the Sea Emperor's hand trembling, his composure utterly broken. Changmo's monster unleashes its own devastating attack, a storm of blue energy and crystal shards. The Sea Emperor's face twists in horror as the wave of blue power completely overwhelms him. In place of the golden throne, a massive construct of pure rationality now dominates the deck. As the cataclysmic energy fades, the deck of the ship is left in an eerie silence. The powerful guests are left stranded on the debris, stunned into silence by the impossible victory. The Sea Emperor is left reeling, his composure shattered by the overwhelming counterattack. The entire ship is revealed to be just the tip of a colossal construct, now destabilizing in the churning sea. Changmo remains perfectly calm, his blue aura a stark contrast to the surrounding chaos. The master of the ship questions Changmo's motives, wondering what kind of power could defy his own. He falls into a tense silence, calculating his next move against this unprecedented threat. His fear turns to cold resolve, deciding that any who obstruct his path must be eliminated. With a furious shout, he issues a command to summon his personal guard. The Golden Throne itself responds to his call, its immense power ready to be unleashed. 4 golden spear-wielding constructs materialize from thin air surrounding Changmo. But his monster of rationality meets the assault, effortlessly clashing with the golden guards. A black hole of pure logic forms at the heart of his monster, warping the space around it. The blue entity effortlessly deflects the golden spears, its chaotic form overwhelming the rigid attack. Changmo watches the battle unfold, his golden eyes filled with cold, calculating focus. The Sea Emperor roars a desperate command, trying to halt the unstoppable assault. An invisible force suddenly strikes Changmo, catching him completely off guard. The golden guards reappear, pinning his physical body with their spears in a seemingly fatal blow. But the spear tips stop just short of his skin, unable to pierce his defenses. He looks down, his expression calm and unbroken, as if the attack is merely an inconvenience. With a surge of imperceptible power, he shatters the golden constructs into 1,000 pieces. He stands among the debris, his head bowed, as more golden guards materialize in the rain. The Sea Emperor roars in fury, his authority completely challenged. Changmo stands before his colossal monster, a master commanding an unstoppable force of pure logic. The Sea Emperor's eye widens in horrified realization as he comprehends the scale of this new threat. He is sent hurtling backward, utterly dwarfed by the sheer size of the monster's blade. Changmo remains perfectly still, a single chain of power connecting him to his defeated foe. The master of the ship grits his teeth, his golden power shattering around him in the pouring rain. With golden eyes and a crystalline hand, Changmo calmly observes his enemy's downfall. In a final desperate act, the Sea Emperor unleashes another volley of golden spears. Changmo reaches into the very heart of his monster, drawing upon the absolute power of the void within. His crystalline hands effortlessly dismantle the golden constructs, shattering them with a simple touch. The black hole at the heart of his blade devours the golden spears, shattering them on contact. The two masters are locked in a chaotic stalemate, their powers clashing across the rain-slicked deck. The Sea Emperor can only watch in horror as the monster of rationality prepares to deliver the final blow. But the immense power surge leaves Changmo visibly drained, his energy seemingly spent. The Sea Emperor's eyes gleam with renewed hope, sensing his opponent's power has finally weakened. He calculates his next move, realizing he can trap his target and win favor with his organization. But Yeli suddenly reveals her own power is fading, leaving them with only one viable option. Without hesitation, she grabs Changmo and begins a desperate sprint across the deck. She makes a bold move, leaping over the railing and plunging toward the dark, churning sea below. The Sea Emperor stares in disbelief, utterly baffled by their seemingly suicidal escape plan. As they plummet, Changmo finds himself falling through an endless, surreal ocean. His eyes widen in shock, not from the fall, but from a sudden, profound realization. He drifts past a colossal, shadowy structure, a glimpse into the true scale of the world's hidden monsters. A fiery cosmos is reflected in his golden eye, a sign that his perception is expanding once again. His gaze sharpens with understanding as he begins to comprehend the true nature of this world. The glittering city of Donghai rushes up to meet them, revealing the terrifying height of their fall. A monstrous, shadowy entity is revealed to be coiled around the city, a silent guardian or predator. His perception shifts, showing him a desolate wasteland where ghostly hands reach for an empty sky. He looks up to see the sky torn open, revealing a swirling cosmic vortex and strange winged beings. Yeli explains this is the mind realm, a chaotic dimension where all emotional power originates. He realizes that all along, he believed only people were afflicted by this strange power. But the truth is far more horrifying, a realization so profound it causes him physical harm. He cries out in agony, his mind and body overwhelmed by the sheer scale of this new reality. It's not just the people, it's the sea, the city, the land, and even the sky. He finally understands that the entire world is a massive, corrupted construct. The Sea Emperor watches from the deck, stunned as his opponents plummet into the endless ocean below. He notices the physical toll the revelation is taking on Changmo, confused by the strange phenomenon. A sudden insight hits him. His opponent's power is borrowed, and his body can't handle the truth it reveals. Believing him to be vulnerable, the Sea Emperor unleashes a final, decisive attack. But Yeli shields him, urging him to close his eyes, as he is not yet strong enough to perceive this reality on his own. Yeli takes control, guiding their descent through the surreal void. The Sea Emperor's golden constructs aim their weapons, preparing to strike the falling duo. But with their powers combined, Changmo and Yeli face the threat with unwavering confidence. The monster of rationality dives downward, unleashing a torrent of blue energy to meet the attack. The Sea Emperor can only watch in stunned disbelief as his attack is met with overwhelming force. In a shocking display, the monster of rationality begins to command the corrupted Black Sea itself. The Sea Emperor's face twists in horror, unable to comprehend how his opponent can control his domain. A colossal wave of dark water rises, threatening to swallow the Sea Emperor and his golden power whole. In the aftermath, the once mighty Sea Emperor is left defeated and alone on the vast empty expanse. The immense power takes its toll, leaving Changmo drained but alive as Yeli checks on his condition. As his power recedes, the shattered lens of his glasses miraculously reforms on his face. He touches his face in disbelief, questioning how his signature eyewear could have possibly returned. Yeli explains his glasses are a symbol of his rationality, which has now regained dominance over his emotions. He struggles to process the horrifying truth about Donghai City and the monstrous entities he witnessed. She reveals the world changed long ago, but his perception was too limited to see the true reality. The official story of an oil spill was a lie to cover up the sea's corruption by a powerful emotion body. She recounts the tale of a world-class depression monster whose defeat created the deadly Black Sea. Yeli casually states that the entire world is now ruled by these entities, making monsters in the city commonplace. Her attention then turns to the sky, ready to explain the final, unsettling piece of the puzzle. She identifies the bizarre, disembodied presence looming over the world as the emotion of envy itself. Changmo stares in disbelief, struggling to process the scale of her horrifying revelation. She explains that his mind is too fragile to grasp this truth without shattering completely. He finally understands that what he knew as emotional illness was just a tiny fraction of a much larger, terrifying reality. Yeli warns him that this knowledge comes at a price. His old life is gone, and danger will now be his constant companion. She then asks if he resents her for dragging him into this chaotic new world. His mind flashes back to the brutal battles he just survived, a whirlwind of chaos and newfound power. After a moment of quiet reflection, his expression shifts to one of calm acceptance. He admits that despite her hidden motives, he feels an exhilarating sense of purpose he's never known before. He describes this terrifying new reality not as a curse, but as a profound rebirth. With his old life shattered, he finally asks the question that matters: who she is and what she truly wants from him. A faint, mysterious smile plays on Yeli's lips as she prepares to finally reveal her story. She explains her true nature, describing herself as a wandering spirit lost in the cosmos. For countless years, she drifted through the city, completely invisible and isolated from the world. As her power withered, her memories fractured like a puzzle, leaving her a fragmented being with only a name. She compares her fading existence to a wildfire without fuel, a brilliant flame destined to burn out. Her power was on the verge of being extinguished, fading into the endless darkness. But everything changed the moment she laid her glowing blue eyes on Chang Mo. A flashback reveals their first encounter, where he was the only person who could perceive her existence. She explains that he was the only one with the unique qualification to see her, touch her, and bear her power of rationality. He is the furnace to her wildfire, the one vessel that can sustain her power and prevent her from fading away. She reveals her actions, posing as a colleague, investigating his past, and protecting him, were all deliberate steps in her plan. She makes a bold promise, vowing to help him acquire anything he desires: money, power, and status. The price for her aid is simple: he must grow strong enough to confront the great secret looming in the sky. Her true motive is revealed. The most crucial missing piece of her very being is hidden somewhere in the sky. With a confident smile, she reintroduces herself as Yeli, marking this moment as her own rebirth. He gazes at her outstretched hand, his expression unreadable as he contemplates their new alliance. A subtle smile touches his lips, signaling his acceptance of this strange new partnership. Against a stunning celestial backdrop, they shake hands, sealing their pact and heralding their shared rebirth. Elsewhere, two shadowy figures in a small boat confirm they have successfully located their target aboard the massive cruise ship. A dossier reveals their target's identity: Chang Mo, an ordinary artist whose life was upended by his mother's death and a sudden awakening of power. The woman assesses Chang Mo's world-class power, finding his rapid growth unbelievable. Her partner suggests that Chang Mo's immense strength might be borrowed from another source. He recalls how the power physically harmed Chang Mo, proving it isn't truly his own. Intrigued, she wonders about the identity of the mysterious patron lending him such incredible abilities. She decides to stall the captain's request for information, casually dismissing the urgency of the situation. Her subordinate questions their new plan, wondering if they are simply abandoning their target. Miss Song reveals her confidence, certain that her family's influence ensures neither Chang Mo nor his benefactor will escape. Her true motive is revealed, a burning desire to seize this power for her own master. The scene transitions to a peaceful day, where Chang Mo contemplates his next steps. He tells Yeli his quest for vengeance is far from over, as the true mastermind behind his mother's fate remains at large. Yeli warns him that the true mastermind is a hidden power he is not yet ready to face. She insists their priority is to find shelter, as her power is nearly spent and they are being hunted. Chang Mo agrees, knowing his unique abilities have made him a target for powerful factions. He suddenly cries out, startling Yeli with his abrupt change in demeanor. He comically realizes he's late for work, before remembering his entire team is no longer among the living. His focus shifts from cosmic threats to the mundane horror of being fired and having no income. Yeli is left momentarily speechless by his bizarrely practical concerns. Chang Mo falls quiet, the weight of his new circumstances finally sinking in. He looks up with grim acceptance, understanding that his old life is well and truly over. A subtle, knowing smile appears on Yeli's face, pleased that he has finally embraced his new reality. Yeli leads Chang Mo towards a secluded complex, announcing they have reached the shelter she promised. They are immediately met by the dumbfounded stares of the other patients in the waiting room. Changmo skeptically questions if this mundane waiting room is truly the safe haven she described. The building's sign reveals their destination to be the Donghai City Second Psychiatric Hospital. She advises him not to underestimate the remote facility, as it's an official institution for treating emotional illness. Yilei explains the government is the most powerful force in the city, often absorbing powerful individuals like him. She then adds a cryptic warning, hinting at a special secret within the hospital that he cannot yet perceive. The shocking truth is revealed. One of the colossal monsters he witnessed earlier is secretly guarding this very location. To blend in, Changmo moves through the waiting area and approaches the main reception desk. He calmly interacts with a nurse, submitting to the hospital's intake procedures while he awaits the next step. Changmo observes the waiting room, noting that unlike his previous encounters, most patients here don't have visible emotional sacs. His attention is drawn to one man laughing hysterically, a strange, colorful aura emanating from his head. Yili explains that his newfound power has expanded his perception, allowing him to see more than just the sacs of anger he was used to. She identifies the man's affliction as the happiness virus, an infection that forces its host into a state of constant, manic joy. After absorbing this knowledge, Changmo calmly turns to greet the person sitting next to him. A young woman with hair obscuring her face shyly asks if he is also a patient at the hospital. When he confirms, she expresses surprise, admitting she thought he looked perfectly normal. Changmo coolly returns the compliment, pointing out that she seems perfectly normal herself. The woman suddenly becomes defensive, loudly insisting she is fine and was forced to come by her parents. She reveals they threatened to throw out her prized collection unless she agreed to a psychiatric evaluation, a story Changmo quietly takes in. The woman shares what she's heard about the hospital, explaining it's for severe cases divided into two distinct sections. She claims Section B is even more terrifying, housing dangerous individuals who must be kept in restraints. Yili clarifies the system. Section A is for the infected, while Section B is for fully transformed emotion bodies. Changmo questions why she's here, and she admits she just needs to get rejected to appease her family. She confidently asserts that a high-security facility like this would never admit someone as normal as her. A nurse calls out two other patients, recommending they transfer to a less specialized hospital for their checkup. The man afflicted with the happiness virus is prescribed medicine, but he only responds with a fit of uncontrollable laughter. The woman smugly points out that if they're turning away those patients, she and Changmo will surely be sent home. But her confidence shatters as the nurse calls both her and Changmo's names to begin their admission procedures. The woman's cheerful expression freezes, replaced by a look of utter, horrified disbelief. The woman cries out in denial, unable to accept her forced admission to the psychiatric hospital. A nurse named Zhou Yang leads them onto the grounds, praising their wise decision to seek treatment. She continues her cheerful pitch, boasting about the hospital's 5-star amenities and gourmet meals. With a reassuring smile, Nurse Zhou Yang promises them a comfortable stay as they are escorted further in. The woman spirals into a panic, questioning her own sanity and the reality of her situation. The nurse calmly rationalizes that in modern times, everyone needs a little help to prevent bigger problems. Changmo asks Yeli how the hospital can detect emotion bodies, realizing his own perception can't see the woman's monster. Yeli explains their instruments can bypass normal perception, but admits she doesn't know the exact mechanism. They are led towards a towering, fortress-like building, revealing the true nature of this high-security facility. From a rooftop, a stern-faced guard watches their approach, confirming the hospital is under heavy surveillance. The woman's face contorts in sudden, dawning horror as she processes their destination. She recognizes the path leading to Section B, a place rumored to house the most dangerous individuals. In a fit of panic, she grabs the nurse, desperately proclaiming her innocence and questioning her placement. The nurse calmly dismisses her fears as online rumors, encouraging her to cooperate with the treatment. Her panic subsides slightly, replaced by a flicker of hope as she questions the nurse's words. With a warm, disarming smile, the nurse confidently reassures her that everything will be fine. But her brief moment of calm is shattered as she notices a disturbing detail about their escorts. She realizes with terror that the nurse is concealing a handgun, a clear sign this is no ordinary hospital. From his perch, the rooftop guard keeps his sniper rifle trained on the new arrivals below. The guard's cold, professional gaze confirms the hospital's true nature as a high-security prison. Changmo watches the scene unfold, wondering if the staff could somehow see what he sees. His perception reveals the woman's true affliction, a grotesque monster of countless cosmic eyes. His thoughts turn to the rejected patients, questioning the grim fate that awaits those not chosen for admission. Yili confirms his suspicions, warning that they are likely imprisoned or eliminated, and urges him to act with caution.